So the SDMS Foundation, in collaboration to the American College of Radiology, supported the international Haiti relief effort that for the past few years has been sending an educational team to Haiti to train local sonographers, local physicians, healthcare providers on sonography. Tammy Stearns and Veronica Hernandez had the honor of going to Haiti this year. So Tammy Hearns is the Director of Women's Ministry at Project Hope, Managua, Nicaragua, where she performs ultrasound on patients that are too poor to seek medical care. She works closely with the Nicaraguan physician and the Ministry of Health in Nicaragua. Tammy is also an adjunct professor at the Adventist University of Health Sciences in Florida and the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Prior to moving to Nicaragua, Tammy has served at an accredited DMS program director for 12 years, as well as being part of the board of directors for the SDMS as an at-large director. And for the past 2 years, she has also served at the Government Relations and Ethics Committee. And she's also authored several publications in the JDMS. Veronica Hernandez is the CEO of the Texas MSK Ultrasound, formerly Great Lakes MSK Ultrasound, and for the past 18 years has been an experienced, dedicated MSK sonographer, providing quality instruction, hands-on scanning workshops, and diagnostic images for MSK. She has worked with Dr. Marnix Holzbeck, Director of the MSK and Emergency Radiology, and Dr. Antonio Buffard, Senior Staff Radiologist at Henry Ford Health System in Michigan. Please welcome Tammy Stearns and Veronica Hernandez.
First of all, we'd like to say thank you for letting us present our time in Haiti. As much as I love education, I love physics, I love all things learning, this is a huge passion of mine. So to be able to take that and present it and to show you what the foundation is doing is just an honor. Being that I'm an educator, I'd like for everybody to close their eyes. Now, I'm an educator that loves active learning projects. I just don't like doing them. So I get that. But just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to think back when you first thought about being a sonographer. For some of us, it was literally last year. For some of us, it was a long time ago, maybe. But what first got you involved in sonography? What appealed to you? To help others? To explore new technologies? To scan babies? Jenny's eyes aren't closed. To be a part of something bigger than ourselves? To make a difference? Did any of you decide to go into sonography in order to explore CPT coding? Call, 10-minute exams, dealing with reimbursement issues, multiple demands on your time versus patient care, legislative affairs, credentialing issues, and you can open your eyes now. And I can tell by the way you laughed that what appealed to you initially wasn't really what it all has turned out to be. And unfortunately, that's become part of our world. And most of this part of the world has pushed out what brought us into sonography in the first place. In 2011, SDMS was given the opportunity to participate in something bigger than ourselves. We were given the opportunity to make a difference. The American College of Radiology identified a need for an education program in imaging in Haiti, and they recognized that SDMS as being the experts in sonography, they extended an invitation to us to provide sonography education. And it became readily apparent that ultrasound was highly sought after for diagnostic exams due to its easy mobility, its non-invasiveness. We were able to bring something portable, put it in the hands of the people that could use it. Yet they didn't have the education that they needed to utilize the technology. So along with the collaboration of ACR and SDMS, the appropriately titled Radiology Education Days in Haiti was formed. We've had a lot of people say, why Haiti? There's need all over the world, including the US. Why Haiti? Well, I can tell you that Haiti has been recognized as the most impoverished country in the Western Hemisphere, ranking just below Nicaragua. The two countries themselves actually go back to back, trading places between each other's first and second most impoverished countries. But impoverished is impoverished. Whether you're the most impoverished or the second most impoverished, it's impoverished. But the earthquake on Tuesday, January 12th, 2010, hit Haiti. So that country that was already struggling was literally brought to its knees in a matter of seconds. As the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, approximately 80% of Haitians live on less than $1 a day. And yet the markets to buy things there are not cheap. Healthcare is difficult at best to access. Quality care is almost non-existent, and pure water is hard to find. Haiti is typically described as a nation in disarray and disorder, being considered unsafe, economically unstable, and desperate, without much clear hope of significant improvement in the very near future. It's a country that struggles. The vast majority of Haitian people live in desperate poverty and personal adversity. They are jobless, hungry, unsafe, and discouraged. Yet, they are also a people of hope. They're a people that have a spirit deep inside of them, and they just need help. They're reaching out for a better life for their children and for their families. In the early 1960s, a couple visited Haiti, and they witnessed firsthand the shocking sight of children dying in the streets from tuberculosis, malnutrition, and other illnesses that were practically unheard of, kids dying in the US. And they felt God's call to come to Haiti and make a difference. And they opened a small clinic that later became known as Grace Children's Hospital, a place where children could come, they would be served, they would be loved on, regardless of their ability to pay. Prior to the earthquake, Grace Children's was recognized as Haiti's leading medical facility dedicated to the treatment of children with tuberculosis. Each year, the hospital received thousands of children who were suffering from TB, HIV, and other diseases, and they were cured. Many of these kids wouldn't have had a chance before Grace Children's Hospital. And then on January 12th, 2010, an earthquake changed everything. An earthquake with a magnitude of a 7.0 hit the nation of Haiti. The quake, which was the strongest to strike the region in more than 200 years, left over 200 people dead, 300,000 injured, and some 1.1 Haitians homeless. Think of this. Within a matter of seconds, over 200,000 people were dead, and over 1 million were homeless. Living in Nicaragua, I'm becoming all too familiar with earthquakes. And I can tell you, they happen without warning, they last indefinitely, and at the end of it, you're left with what you're left with. And Haiti was left with a catastrophe. A country that was already struggling was left to face a 7.0 earthquake with massive destruction, with almost non-existent infrastructure and no safety net at all. The biggest operating hospital in Port-au-Prince, Grace Children's, completely crumbled. Hotel Montana, the premier hotel in the area, completely collapsed on itself. With the hospital, the health care professionals, and the equipment were gone. There was literally no workable emergency response in Haiti until the world finally came to Haiti's aid. There was a nursing school that was housed in Grace Children's. Over 100 of the nursing students, faculty, staff, and medical staff were instantly killed. Literally generations of medical staff were gone within seconds. When the earthquake hit southern Haiti at about 4:53 local time, the nation's capital, Port-au-Prince, is a densely populated area, and it was located only 15 miles from the quake's epicenter, and it suffered widespread destruction. In the U.S., we expect instant emergency response. We expect the National Guard. We expect ambulances to start coming. We expect the fire department, the paramedics. But in a third world country or developing country as of Haiti, that's not there. Nobody's coming. Countless dwellings were reduced to rubble, while hospitals, churches, and schools collapsed, and roads were blocked with debris. Numerous government structures were heavily damaged or completely destroyed, including the presidential palace, the parliament building, and the main prison. At the time of the quake, Haiti lacked any sort of national building code that would have protected its own people. Literally, houses, buildings were built in the cheapest way possible. In the aftermath of the quake, amidst fears that victims' decomposing corpses could lead to disease, literally trucks picked up thousands of bodies and dumped them into mass graves. So the numbers are still sketchy as to how many actually died during that time due to the lack of infrastructure. Many moved into the tent cities. These are kind of the pictures that we all saw through National Geographic and CNN. And these tent cities became their home. The tent cities that would eventually become an eyesore and an embarrassment to their country's leaders. And they ended up moving them to even worse conditions to try to get them out of the public's eye. During this time, ACR began to investigate the possibility of working in Haiti, specifically looking at Grace Children's Hospital. It was quickly identified what was needed. Groups of imagers, if we sit down people that could scan and could do exams, we would only be able to provide the exams at that time. So instead of focusing on sending radiographers and sonographers, it was decided to focus on education. Let's teach the Haitians to scan. Let's teach the Haitians to do their own exams. So when we leave, they can still provide care. Quickly following the earthquake, relief efforts literally came from across the world, and it started arriving in Haiti. Medical imaging equipment, including portable ultrasound machines, CT scanners, radiography equipment arrived in boxes, in loads. However, there was nowhere to put them and no one to install them, and no one knew how to use them. So they sat literally just waiting in storage. So the healthcare infrastructure would literally have to be built from the ground up. And literally new generations of healthcare professionals were going to be needed. While preparing for the first education days, it became apparent that the profession of sonographer was literally non-existent. Physicians scanned patients, specifically radiologists there, and in the country of Haiti, there are only 19 radiologists for the whole country of Haiti. And these are the ones that are also performing the ultrasounds. So they're reading all the other exams, all the other images, performing the ultrasounds, and reading the ultrasounds. 19 radiologists for a populated country of over 10 million people. It was evident that there was a lack of basic imaging education and equipment. In 2012, the American College of Radiology, along with the representatives from SDMS and American Society of Radiologic Technology, hosted the first radiology education days at Grace Children's Hospital at Port-au-Prince. The program provided 2 days of didactic lecture and hands-on training to over 92 attendees. Ted Whitten and myself and a group of physicians from ACR attended the first group. Sonosite provided portable ultrasound machines that were literally hand-carried on into Haiti. We literally arrived having no idea what we were going to get into. We didn't know if there would be a place for us to present didactics, a place for us to do scan labs. There was concern over our general safety. There was concern over actually even just the drinking supply and where we would stay. However, what we encountered was an experience that surpassed all of our expectations. There was even concern, I remember, on that first morning as we were waiting for them to come to register on whether they would even come. Most of these physicians were coming from very rural areas. Would they have the money to be able to be there? Also, to add to all of it, the government had decided for whatever reason to recognize daylight savings times that week. So nobody really knew what time it was. We knew what time we would start, but we didn't know what time they would come or if they would even come. But we shouldn't have worried at all. They came. They came early, and they literally came to learn. We started out with basic physics, knobology principles. We had English being translated into French, and it worked seamlessly. Our scan labs were held in metal pods that we put storage in. Even in the extreme heat, and what you're seeing here, Haitians lined up for hours waiting to be selected as one of our models in order to be scanned. Many of them waited all day without food and very little shelter from the heat. I remember one of my biggest apprehensions about going wasn't the physical safety, but it was about Ted and I, two sole sonographers, combining with ACR, combining with a group of physicians. But I can assure you that the group of physicians that were committed to this endeavor are some of the most giving, gracious, humble radiologists that I literally have ever worked with. It quite literally was a group effort. This, I believe, would later lead on to the acceptance of the profession of sonography in Haiti. The first year, Ted and I were having to constantly remind people we were not physicians. We were sonographers. Yes, we could still scan. Yes, we knew exactly what we were looking at on the screen. But our Haitian colleagues didn't understand that. If you held a probe and if you scanned, you were a physician. But what I remember, I think, most about that first year, as I think Ted would agree, was their hunger just for knowledge, their desire to know more. They would stay late. They would find us in between breaks, carrying literally worn-out, dog-eared textbooks that I don't even know where they got, highlighted, and they just wanted clarification from somebody that did sonography. It truly was amazing. The scanning skill that we experienced ranged from the few radiologists that were practicing that could scan really, really well to those that had never picked up a transducer. At that time, we concentrated on abdominal scanning and basic physics, and we quickly found that in the world of sonography and anatomy, there is no language barrier. Once you start looking on a screen and you draw diagrams, you don't need to talk back and forth because you're talking through anatomy, and that is universal. Michelle Wilson represented SDMS on the second radiology education days, and her response was that it was such a humbling experience that it opened her eyes to the impact that sonography and education can have on impoverished countries throughout the world. This trip, the scan labs were completed literally in the hotel rooms. Like I said, we never knew what we were going to show up to when we got there. She had her scan labs in hotel rooms that housed the team. And again, it was for people that would travel literally for hours to get there, just for the 2 days of education that they would be able to get.
Thank you, Tammy. Well, a lot of this was just amazing for me. I was honored when I received the phone call to serve in Haiti as a sonographer and instructor for the MSK portion, but also to assist the radiologists that were there. I myself didn't know what to expect, so when I arrived, one of the preparations prior to arriving in Haiti was obviously to get the vaccinations. I was concerned about that. And for all of those of you that would like to do volunteer work and missionary work, those are one of the things that you can easily look into, and looking at the vaccinations that you need for each country where you serve. So my expectations were just waiting to see what they needed and doing what I could do. So when we arrived, the people were wonderful. They were anxious to serve us. They were anxious to take our luggage and take us to our hotel. Getting through customs at the airport was actually very welcoming. As we were there, we could hear the music of the background of the local Haitians there performing, greeting us there with open arms. There were also other groups there that were providing missionary work for some of the schools, teaching the children. They all spoke English, so it's just love is a universal language. So they were there to teach the children. They had coloring books and crayons. We also provided some coloring books and crayons for the kids during the workshops as we were scanning. I was eager to just get to our hotel and see what we could do to help set up for this conference. And again, not knowing what our situation was. And then as we were traveling through the city, just the look of the people throughout, I could only say, without getting too emotional, like, you don't see happiness, you don't see fear, you just see an emptiness. And you think, what can I do to help? Sorry.
No,
This was my first time, so for me it was very emotional. But then, once I got past that, I just felt as if there had to be something that I could contribute to help. So when you get there, you just realize all the things that you have in this world and in this country, we're completely and utterly blessed. So driving through was wonderful to see the city itself, even though it was devastating, but just to see the people, to see how they were living. There's so much work to be done. Can't even begin to explain how much work there is, but just knowing that if I could go back, I would, and if others could commit to doing this missionary work in the future, that would be wonderful as well. We made a good time of our situation, driving through the city and taking our selfies in the cab and enjoying our trip. And then our first stop was at the Grace Children's Hospital. And there, when we arrived there, they were showing us the work that was being done on the construction of the building and the add-on. And it was wonderful to see the work and the people that were volunteering their time to commit to doing this. Again, this is all volunteer work. So they were showing us the plans and the construction and what they were hoping for. Within the Grace Clinic, they were already putting together the radiology department, correct? And there they were actually having the second set of the workshop, which was to train X-ray technicians as well as teaching ultrasound. So this is during the time of the workshops, and in this image you can see the local Haitians there, all physicians eager to learn, standing behind, watching me scan, and during that time, again, like Tammy said earlier, speaking the language of anatomy and education it was just easy for them to understand everything that I was saying. When I was speaking to them and trying to demonstrate the different areas that we would be scanning, and in this image I was scanning the knee, they completely understood my positioning, where I was looking, the anatomy that was being visualized on the ultrasound system. There was no need for a translator, though there was someone in the background translating for those that did want that. They were asking questions. The knowledge, for me, it was being able to share with them what I knew and how I could help was very important, but also for them, it was just the fact that we were there giving them this information, that they felt honored. But it was actually an honor for me to be there. Here, helping the radiologist as she was demonstrating a scan for pediatrics, assisting with the machine, doing anything that I could do during the time that I was there when I wasn't teaching was important. To see their faces and how eager they were to learn, that was amazing as well. The physicians and the sonographers worked well as a team. We all helped each other at this time, and I thought that that went really well. Did I go the right way? Let's see. I think I did that one. I was able to demonstrate to the Haitians how to scan a knee, a shoulder. I was able to donate learning materials, and they were very appreciative. MSK ultrasound has a long learning curve, and in a world where MRI is non-existent, there's not a reality for them, having ultrasound is very beneficial. It was limited time that I had, and as you know, scanning is so important. The hands-on portion is what we want and what we need. The materials are there, the learning materials are there, but the hands-on is very important. And I feel bad, or I felt that I wish I could have provided more of the hands-on scanning for them. I wish we could have had more ultrasound machines, more sonographers, more time. 2 days was not enough. But with the hope of knowing that we will return and other sonographers will return is wonderful. This is just an image of me taking it with the local Haitians, and I just enjoyed meeting them all. This is during the conference. Everyone attended. They were on time. They had open minds, wonderful hearts. They listened. I didn't see one nodding head throughout the whole conference. Sitting in the background, we were sitting in the back, it was standing room only. Sorry?
It's a video, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay. And we have a couple videos just to give a real life.
They're not working.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Demonstrating. Okay, so maybe if we can get one of them working, but right now, unfortunately, our videos aren't working.
And you can see, again, behavior.
There's a typical selfie. Tammy, myself, I'm good at the selfie, so I had to put that in there. But just admiring the background, as you can see here, as they're attending and diligently listening to the lectures. It was an honor to be there, and this was an image, or a video actually, where Tammy was demonstrating. And this was a wonderful video. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this to play. Is this one?
That one over
That's
there.
right. Just this.
This was my second trip to go, and it was a surprise to be able to go. I got a phone call, I don't remember, it was about 3 or 4 weeks before, and somebody wasn't able to go. And while I felt really bad for her, I was so excited. I wanted to be able to go back, and I wanted to be able to see the progression, to see if there was a progression, to see if we had made a difference. I didn't know if the faces that we saw that first year would still be there. I didn't know if they'd still be scanning. I didn't know if we'd still be talking about orientation of the transducer. Like Veronica said, 2 days isn't a lot of time. Actually, we had 2 afternoons. So how much did they really get from us? And I was literally amazed. Familiar faces. In fact, I almost think everybody that we scanned with that first year were there for that 3rd year. And it was really, really incredible to see. And not only were they there, but they were engaged and they could scan. You could tell they had practice, We had identified radiologists that could scan, and they became their mentors. So while we weren't there, they were scanning with their mentors, and they were ready to be taught more. Specifically, I went for pediatrics and neurosonography. They were so excited to learn how to do baby heads. It was unbelievable. They came knowing their anatomy. They came having a general idea of what we were going to do, but they just needed help. And so it was encouraging to see that there literally has been movement on. It was like I was spending more time talking about literally scanning than just basic education. This is another clip. We're going to try it.
It's
and then
working. It's working.
Oh, there we go. And this is what a typical scan lab looks like. One of the other things that I noticed on the second trip back was that this profession of sonographer was recognized. That I was being introduced as a sonographer, and it meant no more or no less, but equal to a physician. They saw that we were different roles, but we were the same in a way. We were colleagues, and I love that. And I have to say I contribute that to the physicians with ACR. They helped us carry our equipment, they helped us set up the rooms, they helped us tear down the rooms. It wasn't, okay, you go set that up and I'll be over here, call me when you're ready. It was, we were doing this as a group. And that's what the Haitians saw. So it's even in their minds that, okay, we need sonographers. And so it was incredible to see literally the profession of sonography, I think, introduced to our Haitian counterparts. Because that first year, there was no sonographer in their vocabulary at all. Here's another video. Move over to this side. I have learned it looks very chaotic and it looks very close, but I have learned living in a different culture in Nicaragua, that's literally how they do things. There's like no bubbles for anybody. So you go and you be close and you get together and they're learning, and that's incredible to see. I saw that their hearts and their passion for medical imaging combined with their humbleness allowed us all to work side by side as colleagues. They want to help their people just as much as we want to help. They know the dire straits their country's in. They know that. They're limited. So when we come, they're so incredibly grateful, and they just want all the knowledge that they can get. The rooms were continuously full. Like Veronica said, there was never a nodding head. And those rooms were hot at times. I mean, very hot. Never a nodding head, never anybody leaving early. If anything, they would go and get their food and they would come back, they would sit in their seats eagerly waiting for the next venue, eagerly waiting for the next step. And that really makes me take pause and think about sometimes how we go about our education. Are we as eager as they are? Because let me tell you, they were literally lined up at the doors. Again, neurosonography was one of their greatest interests, and I think a lot of it is due to lack of any other modality there. Yes, they have a CT scanner, they have an MRI scanner someplace stored in a back hallway somewhere that, from what I understand, is a very good MRI scanner, just no way to use it. So ultrasound is literally a big answer for them. It's something that they can take to the communities wherever they are. They don't have to bring them into the city of Port-au-Prince. And they can find out diagnostically what's going on with their patients and quickly. It's interesting because neuro wasn't being done in Haiti, and now today it is. And we're seeing lives literally are being changed and saved because of it. So each of you, whether you realized it or not, as being members of SDMS, you made this possible. You literally have changed lives that will literally impact generations to come in Haiti. And as a society, I think we need to be excited about this endeavor and our ability to reach farther than just our world, than just our hospital, in order to make the world a better place in ways that we will never imagine. Through the SDMS Foundation, we are seeing lives being changed. Ranging from the Sonography Education Days in Haiti to our annual conference grants here, you saw who were able to stand up and able to come and receive education because of the foundation. The registry grants that enables us to become credentialed and not have to wait until we have the financial means to do so. Lives are being changed. And through this foundation, we can be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And it started with a group of people, if you're here, I'd like for you to stand, that had a vision when you created the foundation that it was going to be something bigger than ourselves. I'm not calling names. Joy, stand. I know Joy, Marcia. Anyone else? I just want to say thank you for thinking of something bigger. Thank you for thinking of education as being the means to really make a difference. So there are several ways that you can be involved. Volunteer as a sonographer, either nationally or internationally. There are many organizations, including SDMS, that utilize either long-term or short-term volunteer sonographers. Now that we have the capability to go portable, it doesn't only make our jobs in the hospital more efficient, but we literally can go out into the most desolate areas in the world where people are needing care, and we can provide care as sonographers. You have that gift. If you have that desire, go do it. Watch for email updates coming from SDMS saying we need sonographers that want to go. And if you want to go, take that leap and try it. If you desire to be involved, but you don't want to be quite that adventurous yet, help by giving the means for others to go. By donating to the foundation, you become part of the Education Days in Haiti. You become part of every person's life that is granted an annual conference grant, registry grant, or a scholarship that allows them to continue to go to school. And you can even start that here at this conference. I know you've heard quite a bit about this, but sometimes I think it's just a game, it's just a gimmick. I want to put faces on it. During our conference this weekend, in support of the Foundation's charitable programs that we just talked about, you can participate in the SDMS Foundation Derby. For those of you that were here during the pre-conference tutorials, you've already met our racers. We have abdominal applause, cardiac confidential, OBGYN opportunity, and vascular Voyager. It's easy and fun. Pick a horse and make a bet or donate at the SDMS registration desk and SDMS Pavilion. And then at the Derby party on Saturday night at the Kentucky Derby Museum, we'll see the final race being run. But make no mistake, what you're doing when you give to this is just not a fun game or gimmick. It's literally touching lives, whether it's those in this room or those that are across the world.
I would like to say thank you to every one of you, because you didn't have to do this. I'm a Haitian. Yeah. I was born here, I grew up here, I went to school here, I went to the same medical school, the same radiology program that you're helping. Because and we know that this is our struggle, but I cannot tell you how happy we are that you guys take time from your family, from your busy schedule, to come and help us do this. Yeah. Yes, we're doing this with the radiology, with the doctors, but at the end, those are my people. They are the ones who are going to benefit. And I still, I told the resident, well, I wish if I come back here in a few days and I have a fracture and I have something, you'll be able to get them. A lot of you might never have the opportunity to come back again. But for me, I have to come back. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for all
In the midst of all that noise, there was a reason for that. The very first lady that you heard speak, she speaks French. She is the main radiologist in Haiti, Grace Children's, that is trying to mentor all of these young radiologists. This lady can scan like you would not believe. Unbelievable. The second gentleman, what I hoped you would be able to hear to say, I don't know if you could hear it, but he's a Haitian physician. He actually works here in the US. He goes back and he helps collaborate and helps coordinate these trips. But his comments were, I'm Haitian. These are my people. This is my responsibility. We want to thank you for helping us. We want to thank you as a country for caring enough to leave your world of comfort and what you do in your everyday life to come help us. Why would you come help us? We're just Haitian people, but you came. And those were his words. And as Victoria says, every time Veronica says, every time you see it, it almost brings tears to your eyes, because that's literally the way they feel, literally the way they feel. I was asked after my first trip to Haiti if I would go back. Ted and I were both asked, and both of our responses were in a heartbeat. I would go back today, Don, if you want to send me. It was amazing. It's amazing to be able to take sometimes what I think we in our day-to-day lives take for granted. I have another patient, I have another OB, I have another venous study. Oh my gosh, there's another gallbladder, there's an echo up here, there's a portable up there. Take that gift. Take it across the world and literally make a difference. Even in the US, you can volunteer as a sonographer. You have a gift that very few people have. And when you teach that gift to other people, it just ripples and it just keeps on going. So on behalf of the Haitian people and the physicians, I want to say thank you to each of you for being willing to go where others choose not to go. Not all societies want to step outside the box. Not other societies want to look outside and see what we can do for the world, so thank you. Being willing to make a difference instead of simply looking the other way. Many people talk about making changes, but few people take that step out and truly make a difference. And as a member of SDMS, each and every one of you in this room, by being a member of SDMS, you've made a difference that will literally save lives in Haiti. You will save lives. So thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? We'd be more than happy to answer. Anyone interested in missionary work?
How many machines they have? How many ultrasound machines they have? So can you, how many machines?
She would like to know how many ultrasound machines they had.
Right now. Go ahead. Her question was, how many machines do they have? And at Grace Children's, they have 4 working machines that they're using currently. There was an organization that actually went and dropped in a bunch of portable machines. So there's a lot of ultrasound portable machines that are kind of scattered throughout Haiti that people are being trained on. Any other questions? Anyone interested? Cool. Very good. I think you're going to see more updates. Oh, here's a question.
I have to thank you for going. I'm leaving for Haiti tomorrow, and just keep up the good work. Awesome job, ladies.
Good. I can tell you that the Haitian people, it's kind of like our speaker earlier this morning said, you know, sometimes when you look at people and sometimes they look scary, and it's almost like you don't want to talk to them or you want to stay far away. All you have to do is smile. And oh my gosh, they have the brightest smiles that just brighten up the room. But you've got to make that first step. Even though you're in their country, they literally have been so oppressed and so hurt and frankly so just hurt by people that friendly faces don't often come their way. So if you ever get a chance to go and you see somebody that looks scary, literally just smile at them and you will see a whole change in countenance.
Thank you very much. Great job. Good job. All right, so thank you so much, Veronica and Tammy, for what you're doing, and it makes me so proud to be part of the SDMS and how we are globally changing lives.